Formula 1 comes back home. It's the British Grand Prix this weekend, but during the course of the week, that's not where two individuals were, as both Sam and Fred Vasseur were spotted having a meal in a restaurant in Monte Carlo. Fred Vasseur has said that he'd promised Sam a meal in Monaco last year, and after the revelation of this happening came out to everyone to see, Audi were left very angry with this evening meal. Of course, Sam is contracted with Audi this season, so to see him go and have a meal with the Ferrari team principal during the middle of the season is something that left a very sour taste in the German manufacturers' mouths. Sam, however, has said that he's always gotten along very well with Fred Vasseur and said that at the end of the day, a meal's a meal, and when you're friends with somebody, surely you can't just not have a meal with a friend and have it cause so much drama. But the reason that it's causing even more drama than it probably should have, obviously the fact that it is during the middle of the season, is to do as well at Ferrari with some of the sources coming out of Maranello, and that one of their drivers is currently under threat of losing their seat, being that as Max Verstappen. Verstappen has not had a great season so far for Ferrari, while Lando Norris still hasn't had an amazing season, but is definitely doing a much better job than what Max is doing. And there is some rumours that Ferrari are looking to try and move him on during the course of this season. So with Sam being spotted in Monaco having a meal with Fred Vasseur, it does obviously further enlighten those transfer rumours, but everything is continued to be played down. Moving ourselves away from the restaurant in Monte Carlo and bringing ourselves back to the action on the racetrack at Silverstone, Mercedes have brought a different range of upgrades heading into this weekend. Now, during the in-season test, when Mercedes brought a various range of upgrades to their car, it was expected that they would start to go back to the Mercedes of old, the team that have won the previous two Formula 1 World Drivers and Constructors Championships and caused everybody else a whole range of problems. But that's still not been the case, with Mercedes still struggling despite getting the victory at the Australian Grand Prix. So going into this weekend, they've done a whole bunch of changes, specifically to the underbody of the car. Now this is crucial, as Mercedes say that these changes to the underbody of the car will be critical to see that if they perform well at the next two races, then it will help shape them moving further forward. So it's crucial that these work out as they intend, otherwise Mercedes will continue to be struggling for performance. Aston Martin and Porsche were the two teams that were quickest throughout the first three practice sessions of the weekend, as they look to try and get on top of each other in that Constructors' Championship battle. But there is still a big battle going on behind, with the likes of Red Bull, Audi in particular, who we've noted in this new section as being very, very competitive, and also McLaren have got a little bit of pace that they're potentially going to unleash throughout the course of the weekend. Sebastian Vettel has said that he is ready for a battle here at Silverstone, as it's going to be a very, very close race once again between all of the top teams, as the DRS train is going to be crucial. Be at the right place at the right time, and you can get the moves done and hopefully pull away from that crucial train. But let's go and have a look and see how things get on as it's time for qualifying and the race for the British Grand Prix. Hey, what's going on, guys? It is Foxydude here, and welcome back to a brand new video and another episode of the F1 journey for you guys today here on the channel. We're here for season number 12. This is round 9 of the season. It's the British Grand Prix for you guys here on the channel. If you guys end up enjoying today's video though, feel free to drop it a like. I would really appreciate that. And if you're new around here as well and you do enjoy the content that you do see here on the channel, be sure to click that subscribe button so you never miss a video. And as per liking the video, I'll also very much appreciate it. So as you can see then, we're here for our lap times here at Silverstone, and I instantly just felt really comfortable with the way that the car was performing, and we crossed the line to go fastest on our second flying lap, which is quite unusual for us to set here at Silverstone, but the car was definitely working well and it was just going perfectly. And as you can see here on the final flying lap here, we're just finding even more time as we go through Maggots and Beckett's absolutely flat out here. We've gone purple in the first sector, purple in the middle sector on this flying lap. We're still P1 as things stand, but as we go through the final few corners here, we've still got plenty of time to find. We're about 0.3 of a second up on our previous best lap, but going through the final two corners, you can see we pick up even more pace, even more performance, finding it a load more time, and we cross the line to go fastest of all. It's time to get racing for the British Grand Prix, but before we get into that, let's have a look and see where everybody is going to be starting for this race. It was the most dominant qualifying session of the season so far as we took pole by a whopping 0.8 of a second here at Silverstone. When this car is hooked up, it's hooked up, and it gave us the ultimate lap here at Silverstone with a 1:23.033. Hopefully for the race, for everybody else, things will be closer. Sebastian Vettel was on the front row of the grid for today's race, 0.8 of a second off the pace, just 6/1000ths of a second clear of George Russell, who lines up P3. Sam qualifies in P4. He was the only other driver to qualify within a second of my lap time, 0.8 of a second, just under 0.9 off the pace. Lando Norris is 5th for Ferrari, a second off the pace with Carlos Sainz, also 1 second off the pace in P6. Reece just out-qualifies his teammate Charles Leclerc in 7th, with Leclerc starting in 8th, who had the exact same time as Kimi Antonelli in P9, but Charles Leclerc set his lap time first. Valtteri Bottas lines up P10 for the second McLaren car with another impressive showing from Renault's Daniel Ricciardo to line up P11. It's a bad qualifying for Max Verstappen down in P12 as rumours continue to circulate about his drive for Ferrari. Lewis Hamilton lines up P13 for his home race at Silverstone, not where he wanted to be after the upgrades that Mercedes have brought to the car. Sergio Perez is 14th for Red Bull ahead of Liam Lawson in the Jaguar in P15, while Oscar Piastri could only qualify P16, 1.4 seconds behind his teammate at the checkered flag. Pierre Gasly is 17th for Renault, ahead of Stoff Van Dorn and Oliver Behrman, who qualify 18th and 19th, with Alex Albon, the unfortunate driver, to start P20 and last for the British Grand Prix. Alright then, so as you can see, we're on the grid here for the start of the British Grand Prix. It's a one-stop strategy, starting on the soft compound tyres, moving to the mediums for the end of the Grand Prix. And as you can see, we have got a clear road in front of us. Here we go then, the 5 lights are on and they are now gonna go off and the race is on. And as you can see, it's a good start from us, a little bit of wheel spin there off the line, but Vettel gets a shocking start from the front row of the grid. So we've got a nice clean run going through the first few corners now, and as you can see, we lead this Grand Prix. I think the McLaren of George Russell has moved into second place now in this Grand Prix as we make our way through Village, I believe it is, and now down the straight here, you can see it is Russell is second, so Vettel not getting a good start off the line there. We're going to dump some of the battery here as we go down the Wellington Straight for the first time in this Grand Prix, and as you can see, we've got the lead nice and comfortable, and now this is the stage of the Grand Prix where we need to try and settle down a little bit. Of course, we understand that this car, when in terms of having low fuel, is absolutely mighty, but every single time we do these races, of course, the car is completely different with a full tank of fuel on board, and of course, these tyres need to be managed rather than to be absolutely crucified. So now, as we make our way through Maggots and Beckett here, you can see that George Russell having a little bit of a look there, going through the exit of Copse now. This is the section of the track here where we've got to get it right, and you can see that we're just going to have to watch our mirrors a little bit here, because here comes George Russell now down the straight. He's got the slipstream here, and now we're going to deploy the battery as late as we possibly could there. Just that little burst there of overtake was enough to keep us ahead and stop Russell from going side by side. There's a little bit of a gap that's just formed there further back though between some of the cars here. So we've got 2 trains now forming here, and as we cross the start-finish line, we lead the British Grand Prix, but Russell is right on our tail, and DRS will now be enabled, so things are gonna get tricky. Looking at the race start though, this is how things panned out here. So as the lights go out, it was a decent-ish start from us. It wasn't spectacular, quite a bit of wheel spin there, but for Vettel, it just went wrong very, very quickly, and he dropped all the way down to P4, I think that is, off the line there. So really not a great start from him. From us though, couldn't have asked for anything better. Let's have a look at Sebastian Vettel's start though, find out what went wrong for him. So again, it wasn't a brilliant start for us, but for him, it was just worse, and there's contact there that's made between himself and Carlos Sainz then, going through turns 1 and 2. That's a big bit of contact there. We're going to have a look at that with Carlos Sainz here. I didn't notice there was some contact. So the first getaway, the launch there, was poor. Sainz then flicks over to the inside line here, just goes his way through. Oh, and there it is, look. Vettel's got front wing end plate damage then, so going through that corner, the contact was enough to break the end plate off of Vettel's car. He's going to be having a horrible amount of understeer going through all of these high-speed corners. I'm surprised that Red Bull haven't called him into pit, but he's obviously finding it absolutely okay on the track there. But for us though, we're not finding it okay, because while we dominated in qualifying, in the race, things are going to be a lot tougher, because here comes Russell with the DRS down the straight, but in towards Stowe. We stay in front of Russell, but he's turning the switch back on us now, through towards Stowe, into the final few corners here. Can we stay in front of Russell? Yes, we can. We stay in front of the McLaren, but for how much longer can we stay in front of George Russell, because we crossed the start-finish line? Yes, it's the fastest lap for us. That's going to be beaten, though, by Charles Leclerc, who's gone 6/10 quicker. But as you can see, we cannot pull clear now of George Russell. That DRS train is absolutely critical, because now that Russell's in that, he can just stay in it, and we're going to have to go defensive every single lap now for as long as humanly possible, because here comes Russell with the DRS. Sam is also trying to have a look with DRS down in towards Stowe, and he just about stays in our favour. We're in front of Russell for the time being, but this is now going to start to turn into a very defensive Grand Prix from myself here. So let's go again through Maggotts and Beckett's and see if we can do a better job defending the position off Russell. The key thing here is we just lose the back end slightly as we clip the curb there through Beckett's, and that's not giving us a great run now. Here comes Russell. He'll go to the outside again. Sam, though, is going to try and push this to the inside. We break a little bit later to stop Sam from getting the run there, and we stay in position. Russell as well, having to watch his mirrors there, because Sam was definitely trying to have a look. But the problem that I've got here is that while I've got some decent pace, I can't extract it all when they're right on my tail and using DRS in the two critical phases of the lap here. We've got good straight line speed, we just aren't able to use that when they've got DRSs. We try and break the toe now down the straight. Here comes Russell. He's going to try and go alongside here, but he's not close enough. But he's got to watch out here, because Sam now is trying to go down the inside at Stowe. Sam clearly feels like he's got more pace than what George Russell's got, wants to get the move and wants to get after us, but that's not going to happen. But as you can see, the entire grid is all up, bunched in a train, ready to pounce at any mistake that comes anybody's way now. As we go wide there through Beckett's. Oh, the back end steps out there. As we just go wide on Beckett's, we'll have to cut across the track there, and that's going to give Russell now a great chance to go for the move. It'll give Sam a great chance to go for the move. Into Stowe, we hold on against that in that crucial area of the track, and again, George Russell has a little look. There's a fight going on, though, between Vettel and Sainz, that is. Sainz will go around the outside here on Vettel. Sainz gets the move done. He's up into fourth now. Things looking good for Audi so far in this Grand Prix. P3 and P4, not a bad showing for them, as this time around going through Maggotts and Beckett's. We get that absolutely fine, but Sam is the man now. I didn't catch when Sam got past George Russell, but he has done, and now he's going to fight us here going through Stowe, and we're not having it. And now Russell is going to come back at Sam down in towards the final corner. I think it's Club Corner, if I'm correct. Probably not. The Vale Chicane and Club Corner. There we go. I knew I'd get it eventually. My corner names, I know them around here, but forget which corner's which name. But hey ho, it is what it is. But yeah, things are going great for Audi. We knew they were quick in practice, but they weren't as quick as Porsche. So funnily enough, Porsche not really living to the expectation of what they were hoping to have here at this track, but Audi really have got some brilliant pace here, and you can see they're holding on nicely now to this train here, as you've got myself, Sam, Russell, and then Sainz. I think it's Vettel behind, and then Reese, our championship rival, is currently in P6, I want to say. So things are okay for us as it stands, but you can just see again, we're just having to defend lap after lap after lap after lap here. It's just wave of attacks now down towards Stowe Corner. Here comes Sam again, trying to go around the outside, but we've got enough pace and performance to keep it all in check here. So, like I said, we've got great pace in terms of our qualifying runs, which is what got us pole position, but in the race, everything's just neutralised thanks to the DRS train, but that's not a great run through Beckett in the slightest. That's wide through there. That'll give Sam a great run now down towards Stowe to get a look at us here. He opens up the DRS now. Russell will try and find a way through. Here comes Sam now, round the outside into Stowe. Sam's got a little bit of a car length ahead. I think he's got a full car ahead now. Sam leads the British Grand Prix, but we'll come back in down the inside into the Vale Chicane, through towards Club Corner. The outside will be our favoured one here, and we go around the outside to keep going, but we go so wide on the final corner and clipping the gravel. How we managed to not spin that, I've got no idea, but we're still in front of Sam. Russell now trying to find a way through here. Can he stay in front of Sam? We'll block Russell's path. Russell climbs onto the curb to get in front. Sam goes around the outside to take the lead in the British Grand Prix. What a move that is from Sam. That caught me straight off guard there. No way was I thinking he was going to get that one done through there. And Sam, crucially, on this straight, gets DRS to try and pull away. And now the crucial part of the race is, can Sam pull away? And the answer is, I don't know, because we're going to come into the pits now and get off of these soft compound tyres, get onto the medium tyres and go to the end of the race. But this is now really starting to turn into a proper fight here at Silverstone, with everyone having a chance of winning this Grand Prix. But this phase of the race is critical. So here we go into the pits now. We've been held a little bit there because everyone, well, basically half the grid, as you can see, have stopped now for the first time in this Grand Prix. And now we need to get our foot down and get on with it. And crucially, if we can make the undercut work, get out of DRS range of the cars in front that have stayed out an extra lap, hopefully we can stay ahead of them and stay away from the DRS detection zone. But that's going to be down to the pace that we can provide in these next few laps here. So this is crucial now on these medium compound tyres. Lap 13 of 26. Let's see what we can do as we breeze on clear now. Lap 14 of the Grand Prix. There we are in the lead. And unfortunately for Sebastian Vettel, things are getting from bad to worse here, because Russell passes him, Bottas passes him, and so does Lando Norris. And why did they all pass him? Well, Vettel actually undercut everyone, pitted early and went onto the hard compound tyres. Now that's not a bad thing, right? As we see Verstappen there fighting Daniel Ricciardo. It's not a bad thing that he's got past well, what's it called? I've done the undercut and everybody. But as we make our way now on lap 15 here comes Lando Norris. Look at the overspeed that the Ferrari got then. Down in towards Brooklands and Luffield now. What a great run there, but Russell holds the position off now, and it's starting to break away here. The crucial thing to note as well, everyone's made their pit stops. You've seen us in the picture going through Stowe Corner. You might, Copse, sorry. You might see us on the exit of Copse. Maybe not on the helicopter cam, because too busy looking at Norris and Russell going side by side here. There we are, just going through Beckett. We've managed, thanks to the pit stop phase, to get out of DRS range of the cars in front. We're about 1.5 seconds clear, maybe 1.5 to 2 seconds clear. If we can keep in this distance, then we're absolutely fine here. But as you can see, here comes Vettel now. Sorry, not Vettel. Here comes Norris going down the inside of Russell. Bottas now fighting Russell. Vettel, I was trying to say, is under pressure from the other drivers behind, as there we go through the final corner. The problem I was trying to come at is that Vettel, while he undercut everybody and went to the hard compound tyres, Red Bull did not change the front wing on Vettel's car, so he's still got horrific understeer coming from that broken end plate on the front of his car. So all he can do is try and stay in DRS of everybody else, but while they're on faster medium compound tyres, it's really going to hurt Vettel's performance that he's on slower hard tyres. He doesn't have DRS, I don't think, to the fight that's going on here between the two McLarens and the Ferrari. But the other thing to note as well is that there's no sign of the Audi cars. There is Sam, you just saw him. He's literally nearly last in this Grand Prix at some point now. So Sam's had a horror show at the pit phases, and all of a sudden, from fighter or leading this Grand Prix, he's nearly last now in this race. I don't know if this camera is going to catch it, but he's fighting a Jaguar as things stand at the moment. There's the damaged front wing, look, on Sebastian Vettel. Hamilton now is trying to have a look at him, going in towards the first. Oh, that's, well, I was going to say Hamilton's going to try and have a look at him going in towards the Wellington Straight, but he doesn't need to, because Vettel locks up there. Double front locker, and now for Bottas here, he's going to have a look at Lando Norris down in towards Brooklands. Can Lando get the move done here? It's going to be nip and tuck between him and the Ferrari. Job done, actually. Fair play to him. He's got that one done. Lando Norris is now down to third, but he's not going to stay third for too much longer here, because he's going to come back now at Valtteri Bottas. So too is Lando Norris, who's going to go down the inside in towards Stowe, make that one stick. There was also a fight going on further behind, but that settled itself down. The two McLarens are still going at it. We're still leading the British Grand Prix, but crucially, even though these guys are fighting like crazy and we're out of DRS range of these guys, we're not exactly pulling away. In fact, the gap is just staying neutral. And why is because of this straight here. The fact that it's a three-way fight is obviously entertaining to see, but the problem is there goes Hamilton on the inside of, on the outside of Sergio Perez. He's making up some places because he's in front of Antonelli now in this Grand Prix. The fact is that while the DRS fights are going on, while during this corner, granted, they're battling, and that's giving me probably about 2-3 tenths to fight with. As you can see, there I go on my way now down the old pit straight here. The two McLarens, though, are going down the old pit straight nearly side by side. It's the next straight now, the hangar straight, down towards Stowe, where these two drivers, or any of these drivers, should I say, for that matter, are making the overtake and making it stick. So the couple of tenths that they're losing fighting in some other portion of the track, such as Brooklands and Luffield, they're gaining that back on the straight, coming at Stowe. Look at Bottas now here, down the straight. DRS is going to be enabled for Bottas. This is going to hurt Russell now all the way down towards Stowe, because he's going to get mugged here. But watch Bottas. He's got the job done. So there's a good, 4-5 tenths gained from that overtake alone, because no fighting was done. Norris also gets the position. Now he's going to have to defend Russell against Charles Leclerc, and he does just that, fending the position nicely against the Porsche driver. And as you can see, it's just the same continuous fight, as here we now look at George Russell having a look down the inside of Lando Norris. George Russell takes the place away from Lando Norris. Second place is his, and you can just see the fight just keeps going on and on and on. And there you can see even the Audi driver of Carlos Sainz, who was running P4 in this race, is completely gone from the entire fight at the front here. It's crazy how this pit window has completely changed the complexity of the race. We were looking at me versus Sainz versus Sam versus Russell. We've now got me leading this race and comfortably leading it now out front. And then you've got Bottas, Russell, Leclerc, Norris, Hamilton, Perez, Antonelli, and yeah, there's no sign of Sam, no sign of Vettel, no sign of Reese, no sign of Sainz. They're all out of the picture now in this Grand Prix, as Russell tries to go for a move on his teammate Bottas down in towards Brooklands, and through Luffield they go. Can Bottas stay in front of his teammate for much longer in this Grand Prix? Not quite, but they'll go side by side here down the old pit straight. Will they keep this one going through Copse? Will they keep it going? Will they stay together? Will they make contact? They're not going to make contact, but they will go side by side through Copse. This is epic racing between the two McLaren drivers. Through Maggots and Beckett's we go. They'll stay together. They'll keep this one fighting through Chapel in just a minute's time, and that's going to go to George Russell, who gets the position. And for Bottas, it's going to go from bad to worse, because Russell's got the place. Bottas, though, doesn't have DRS. Leclerc goes by, Norris goes by, and Hamilton now wants to try and find his way through, but it's not going to work, unfortunately, because Bottas will keep fighting this one as hard as he can against the Mercedes driver. But I think Hamilton actually might just get this one as he swoops around the outside. He does. So Hamilton makes the move stick, and onto the Sir Lewis Hamilton straight we go. He gets in front, but Bottas there has actually overtaken Hamilton, but Hamilton's going to get him back now, and all of a sudden we've had another breakaway in this fight here. The battle now is between P2, 3 and 4 of Leclerc, Russell, and also Norris. No, Leclerc, Russell, and yeah, it is Norris. Why am I don't know, I'm losing the plot, okay? Leave me alone. Leclerc, though, makes the move there on Lando Norris, and he's up into second, but Norris now is going to come back at Leclerc. Down in towards Stowe we go. Russell is trying to have a little look here. George Russell tries it, but Leclerc closes the door quite nicely, and onto the final lap now. Lap 26 of the Grand Prix. We're still leading out front here. Here comes Charles Leclerc. He makes the move on Lando Norris. Can Russell find a way on Norris? It's not to be. Bottas stays in front of Hamilton, but at the front of the field, we have done what we needed to do. We got out of DRS. We've managed the pace. We've managed the performance. It's a hat-trick of wins in Formula 1 for us this weekend. The British Grand Prix, our home Grand Prix, and Aston Martin's home Grand Prix, of course, the Silverstone-based team. It is delight for all of us here this weekend, as I believe that is, hopefully I haven't just embarrassed myself by saying that, is our third race win on the bounce, and we have really hit form with this team. And as you can see, we take the race victory in the end. And like I was saying, it was crucial, that pit window, that nobody behind or directly behind me came into the pits at the same lap. If the likes of Russell or Sam boxed the same lap as me, that race would have been completely different. But the fact that every single rival that I had decided, you know, in the proximity of the top four, I'm talking myself, Sam, Sainz, and Russell, the fact that all three of them stayed out for an extra lap just was the crucial moment of the Grand Prix. Because as I was saying, if any of them stayed out for, any of them pitted the same lap as me, they would have been in DRS range on the hangers on the Wellington straight. They then would have been quicker than me on the outlap, because the AIs are always quicker than me on the outlap, and we would have had to have gone into full defensive fight mode for the remainder of the race. But because they didn't, the undercut worked and we stayed in front of them. They obviously all had massive issues in the pit stops, and then the other drivers behind just had to keep fighting each other, and all I needed to do was make sure that I made no mistakes and kept it clean on the track. And as you can see, whilst I didn't have the effective DRS from the battles behind, you saw how much these guys were fighting in the second phase of the race. I only finished just less than 2 seconds ahead of Charles Leclerc. They were really quick, the AIs, this weekend, and it's staggering how I go from being 0.8 of a second faster than everyone in qualifying, and all of a sudden in the race, everything got completely neutralized. And I genuinely looked at the qualifying after I was doing it during the recording, and I was really tempted to scrap the footage and up the difficulty and go again, you know, and get rid of it, because I'm like, mate, this is going to be the easiest race I've ever had. Like, I can't believe I'm this much quicker. I'd never change. I've had the difficulty set on the same for every single race this season, and I thought it was just going to be one of those. Like in Japan, I was way off the pace. I couldn't even get near the AIs. Here in Silverstone, I'm way quick. Or Singapore, for example, I was way quicker than them. And here in Silverstone, I'm thinking, I'm seriously going to be this quick again? But it was completely different. So, you know, you can't change. When you're doing a Grand Prix mode, you can't change the difficulty between qualifying and the race. It was the same difficulty, but the playing field was evened out completely. But anyway, we finished, like I said, less than 2 seconds ahead of Leclerc, who managed to beat Lando Norris to P2, and he finished P3. At least Norris got a podium at his home Grand Prix. An improved result as well for Ferrari. George Russell finishes in 4th for McLaren, ahead of his teammate Valtteri Bottas in P5. Decent result for McLaren this weekend. Great recovery from Lewis Hamilton. He finishes in P6, started P13, finishes 4.8 seconds off the win in the end, ahead of Sergio Perez, who is 7th for Red Bull. Great race from him as well. Of course, he started further down. Kimi Antonelli, a decent drive from him to finish in P8, ahead of Max Verstappen, who finishes only 9th for Ferrari, with Daniel Ricciardo doing a great job to get a point for Renault, with the extra point for the fastest lap going to George Russell, who sets a 1:25.273. So he, instead of getting 12 points, gets the extra lap bonus point lap of 13. So fair play to him. Looking at the second half of the table now, it was a very interesting looking second half of the table, especially the first 5 that you see. Carlos Sainz finishes P11 for Audi. Again, he was running P4 until the pit stop window came, and he's just dropped way off. Sebastian Vettel finishes P12 for Red Bull. We know what happened to him. He damaged his front wing at the start. They should have changed his front wing at the pit stops, but they didn't, and left him out on hard tyres. That completely backfired. Reese finishes in P13. No points for him this weekend. Again, a weird one, because he was, I think, like P5, P6. And then again, the pit stops completely changed everything, as it did for Sam, who finishes in P14. He was leading the British Grand Prix. He took the lead from me, and all of a sudden it went to pot. Now, I don't know about anybody else in these 5 cars, but I did go back and I had a look at why Sam basically just completely fell off in the Grand Prix. He had no mechanical issues. He didn't break his front wing anywhere. When he came into the pits, the pit stop had happened, and then he was just stationary there for ages and ages and ages, and then he finally got released. He just got held so badly in the pits, it just dropped him all the way down the order. So a massive shame for Sam, as that basically just continues his horrible luck that he's had this year. Oscar Piastri finishes in P15 for Aston Martin, ahead of Alex Albon and Liam Lawson in the 2 Jaguar cars. Ollie Behrman finishes in P18 for BMW, ahead of Pierre Gasly. Overall, though, the top 19 cars separated by just 13.3 seconds at the checkered flag. It was a very closely contested race from the front all the way to the back. Unfortunately for Stoffel Vandoorne, he was the only one that was not able to finish this Grand Prix. P20 and last for him, and that is all that she wrote for the race results. Looking at the Drivers' Championship and seeing how things have changed in that category, well, the championship lead has extended for ourselves now. We've got a 35-point lead over Reese at the top of the championship, 160 points to our name, with Reese failing to score points this weekend. That championship is starting to grow quite a bit, and it's now critical that the teams behind get their upgrades on, otherwise this championship is going to start running away from them. George Russell stays 3rd in the championship on 96 points, ahead of Charles Leclerc, who is on 84 points. Leclerc continues to start closing the gap between himself and George Russell. Vettel stays 5th in the championship, tied on points with Lando Norris, who are both on 65 points apiece. Valtteri Bottas is on 63 points, and he's now very close to that little group of cars, as is Carlos Sainz, despite not scoring any points, drops to 8th in the championship on 60 points. Sam, still in the top 10 in the championship, but only 44 points to his name, stays clear of Kimi Antonelli, who is on 39 points and 10th in the championship. Speaking of Antonelli, it's his home Grand Prix next time around. It's the Italian Grand Prix, where Ferrari will also be looking for a result. Taking a look at the Constructors' Championship now, it's Porsche that still lead this championship on 209 points. They've been leading the Constructors' Championship for most of the season, and it continues to go that way with Aston Martin on 188 points. If my maths is correct, that's 21 points, the difference between Porsche and Aston Martin in the championship. McLaren are on 153 points, sitting quite comfortable in third in the championship as things stand, with Audi on 104 points. Ferrari take a leap into, or take a big chunk out of that championship lead that Audi had over them. They're on 97 points now and are closing the gap, with Red Bull on 83 points. Mercedes go up to 61 points, and Renault are on 13 points as they gain an extra point in the championship, with Jaguar and BMW still yet to score in this season. But that is it for the British Grand Prix. Let's go move into the post-race notebook now and see what the teams and drivers had to say after the British Grand Prix. Taking a look at the post-race notebook now, and here's what the teams and drivers had to say after the Grand Prix. First things first, Tom makes it 3 race wins in a row at the British Grand Prix. It's a hot run of form that the Aston Martin driver is on, and he couldn't have asked for the perfect home Grand Prix in front of his home fans, and also the team's home Grand Prix, with their base literally minutes away from the circuit itself. Charles Leclerc fought back to finish in P2 for Porsche, with Lando Norris taking a home Grand Prix podium for himself, finishing in P3 for Ferrari. But things went completely wrong for the other Porsche driver of Reese, who admitted that the pit window was the wrong time for them and they should have come in a little bit earlier, and knows that he must end this dip in form if he is going to take the fight to Tom in the championship. Remember, 4 races ago, Reese was the championship leader and was starting to build a lead of his own, but that has since dwindled and Tom is taking full command of the championship. But in the race itself as well, things went catastrophically wrong for Audi. They were running P1 and P4 just before the pit stops happened, but both of them ended up outside of the points. So what was the cause of this? Well, Audi have confirmed that it was a wheel gun failure on both times during the pit stops that cost them during the race itself. They said that the front left wheel gun failed on Sam's car, which meant that they had to swap to a backup, which cost him time, which then after they swapped to the backup and then lost time there, they lost even more time trying to then release him because they couldn't, because everyone else was behind. As for Carlos Sainz, it was the right rear wheel gun that failed, and this is something that Audi needed to investigate, as this has cost them dearly this weekend. And further tensions continued to rise between Sam and Audi, as Sam was seen storming out of the Audi motorhome after the British Grand Prix, having to want to speak to nobody and just wanting to leave the circuit, and he left very, very quickly after doing all of his post-media duties. But that is it for the British Grand Prix. If you guys have enjoyed this race and this weekend, feel free to drop it a like, subscribe to the channel if you're new around here as well, and we'll be taking ourselves to the Temple of Speed at Monza for the next round of the season. Thank you very much for watching. Take care all. Peace.